Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Nabil bin Abdul Nasir, metric number 20183997. I want to present about the overview of international trade. First, I want to talk about the understanding of international trade. So, the definition of international trade is the exchange of goods and services between countries. And this global trading will give the consumers and country the opportunity to be exposed to goods and services which is not currently offered in their own country or which will be much more expensive domestically. And international trade was a key to rise of the global economy because it enables nations to expand their markets and access goods and services. For example, import, export, and interport. As a result, a market will be more competitive and it will lead to more competitive pricing and brings a cheaper product home to the consumer. Next, we move to history and background of international trade in Malaysia. Malaysia's international trade experienced a growth throughout the last 3 decades. The Malaysian government welcomed export-oriented industry, created a very positive investment environment in the country and fostered close relations between government and private businesses. The government also established a few barriers on the importation of goods and services, although it often opted for selective intervention and for protecting some sectors of the national economy. Over 5 years, Malaysia more than doubled its exports from 29.416 billion US dollar in 1990 to 74.037 billion US dollar in 1995. After the 1997 regional financial turmoil, Malaysia experienced economic recession. Although this recession was much smaller and less disruptive than that in South Korea or Indonesia. Due to the tough economic measure, Malaysia exports recovered and reached 83.5 billion US dollar in 1999. This is analysis of export and imports in Malaysia from 1975 to 1998. You can see in 1990 to 1995, the increase is more than double. Background of export activity in Malaysia. The United States has been one of Malaysia's largest trading partners. Its export to the United States reaching about 21.9% in 1999, and a year in which it was the United States to have largest trading partner. The trade between these two countries consists mainly of assembled electric goods and manufactured electronic products. Second is Singapore. Singapore is traditionally the second largest export market, with the proportion of goods to Singapore reaching 16.5% and dominated by electrical and electronic equipment, machinery, metals, and mineral fuels. The third one is Japan, at 11.6%, and once again exports are dominated of electrical and electronic equipment, machinery, and mineral fuels. Background of imports in Malaysia. Japan, United States, and Singapore are also the three largest sources of import in 1999 and mainly consists of electrical and electronic equipment. The last point in the overview of international trade is pros and cons of international trade. The pros of international trade is the availability and cheapness of commodities. Consumer can get access to foreign goods at a lower price. We can see that normally foreign goods are imported because of their relative cheapness in comparison with the price of domestic goods. Second one is development of backward nations. With the internal trade, underdeveloped countries are able to import machinery and capital goods in exchange for their raw materials, agricultural products, and foodstuff. So it will help in development of the the nations. Third one is changes in the quality of labor and capital. The international trade will change the quality of people and teaching them to consume new things and also using old things in new way. And the last one is the advantage of specialization and division of labor. Different regions are endowed with different kinds of productive agents. Specializing in the manufacture of those products for which their factory equipment is more appropriate is to the advantage of each nation or region. For example, Britain. Britain have iron ores and coal, while the Middle East country have oil resource, and Southeast country have a tin and rubber. So we can change the specialization and division of labor. The first cause of international trade is affects domestic industry. This situation will give an effect to the consumption pattern of country due to the import of cheaply manufactured. The second one is exhaustion of essential materials. International trade may result in the exhaustion of essential materials and minerals of country because most of the mineral were exported to other countries. Third is dependence on other nations. To ensure a higher standard of living for a nation, it makes countries dependent on foreign market, not only for raw materials but also for the sale of finished product. The last one is a loop-sided economic development. Due to the operation of comparative cost, international trades leads to specialization and one-sided economic development, which is not conducive to the prosperity of the country.
My name is Ali Firdaus bin Muhammad Azhar and my metric number is 2012449 and I am going to present about the composition and the destination of imports and exports. The first one, we will see the major sectors in Malaysia that involve with the international trade. Okay, the first sector is the manufacturing sector. This sector comprises both export and domestic oriented subsector. And for the export subsector, it includes electrical and electronic products, chemicals and chemical products, refined petroleum products, wood and wood products, and textile, apparel and footwear form the majority of export product. And the export of the manufactured goods, which constitute 87.5% of total export during 2019, had increased by 4.7% to 80.9 billion ringgit. And the second sector is agricultural sector. The IPAM was the major contributor to the value added of agriculture sector at 37.7%, followed by other agriculture, which is livestock, fishing, forestry and logging, and rubber. The export of agriculture sector in 2019 amounted to 115.5 billion ringgit Malaysia, as compared to 114.5 billion ringgit Malaysia in 2018. It is increased by 0.9%. And the third sector is the mining sector. We know that Malaysia is blessed with various natural resources including bauxite, clay, coal, and many more minerals. The export of mining goods continued to decline by 30.2% and accounting for 5.1% of Malaysia's export. And now we will look to the next point, which is export and imports. In 2018, Malaysia was the number 35 in the world in terms of GDP, the number 20 in terms of total export, and number 25 in total imports. And in terms of GDP per capita, Malaysia was numbered as 68 in the world and number 26 as most complex economy according to the Economic Complexity Index. In September 2020, Malaysia has exported about 88.9 billion ringgit and imported about 67 billion ringgit Malaysia, and it resulted in a positive trade balance. Between September 2019 and September 2020, the export of Malaysia have increased by 14.4%, while the import had increased by 3.48%. And for Malaysia export product and its destination, in September 2020, it recorded the most export product from Malaysia were integrated circuit, which is 21.3 billion ringgit Malaysia, followed by palm oil, rubber apparel, and followed by refined petroleum and semiconductor devices. For destination, Malaysia exported most of its product to China, about 15.6 billion ringgit Malaysia, and second to Singapore, and the third country is United States, followed by Hong Kong and Japan. We can see that in September 2020, Malaysia year-by-year export has increased, and it explained primarily by an increase in the export to China, about increase of 43.4%, to United States increase 25.5%, to Hong Kong 32.4%. And in terms of product, the export product increased for integrated circuit 54.1%, for rubber apparel 159%, and for the palm oil 37.7%. And this is the Malaysia export trends. You can see that the trend of Malaysia export fluctuated from October 2019 until September 2020, and the lowest total export was recorded at May 2020. Indeed, for Malaysia import product and destination, we can see in September 2020, the top import of Malaysia were integrated circuit, followed by refined petroleum, telephone, semiconductor devices, and gold. And in terms of destination, Malaysia mostly imported the product from China for about of total import by 15.3 billion ringgit Malaysia, followed by Singapore, United States, Japan, and Chinese Taipei. That Malaysia year-by-year import had decreased, and it explained by the decrease in import from the Singapore, about 15.5%, and followed by South Korea 20.9%, and Thailand 11.7%. And the product import decreased in refined petroleum, followed by crude petroleum and gas turbines. And this is Malaysia import trends from October 2019 until September 2020. And we can see that on May 2020, Malaysia had a lowest total monthly import. Now we will look at the other trading country, which is China. And for China, in August 2020, China had exported product by $180 billion and imported about $153 billion, result in a positive trade balance of $27.2 billion. And between August 2019 and August 2020, the export of China have decreased by 4.41%, and the imports also decreased by 12.3%. And now we will look at the export product and destination. China mostly exported telephones, computers, integrated circuit, other cloth article, and model and stuffed animal. And for the destination, China exported most of its product to United States, followed by Japan, Vietnam, Germany, and Netherlands. And in terms of import product and destination, China imported most of the product is integrated circuit, crude petroleum, iron ore, cars, and soybeans. And most of the product was imported from Taiwan, followed by Japan, South Korea, and Germany. And this is China export trends, and we can see that the lowest total monthly export was recorded at 2020 in February. And this is China import trends graph. We can see that the graph is fluctuated, and the lowest total monthly import was recorded also at February 2020.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Irfan bin Ismail, and my metric number is 2013665. So I'm going to present under this topic, which is new opportunities of international trade. First of all, we look at the table of contents. There are 4 new opportunities that I'm going to present in this video. First, government incentive for small medium enterprise, which is SME. Second, advancement of technology. Third, variety of products. And fourth, healthy competition among international trades. First, we look at the government incentive for small medium enterprise. As we know, export and import trading are between one country with another country. Goods and products are produced by all business, either small business or large business. A large business usually involved in exporting and importing products with other countries. It is because all the huge business, for example in our country, have stabilized financially compared to small business. However, if the governments want to encourage small and medium-sized of business to be involved in national trades, government should provide some incentive to them. Government should fund SME business to encourage and support them to run their business, to produce many goods and products until they can do international trade. For example, on 14 November 2015, the Malaysian government issued 11.4 billion ringgit of funding to assist small and medium-sized enterprise. The recent budget 2015 also outlined several measures to further facilitate the SME development and strengthen their long-term competitiveness. With this injection by the government, all SME business should take advantage to expand their business to contribute in Malaysian economic growth. Hence, the business could have the opportunity to do international trade with other countries in exporting goods and products outside our country, and at the same time, it will increase our gross domestic product, which is GDP. Okay, so we move to the next opportunities, which is advancement of technology. Okay, first, we look at advancement of machine. Countries with advancement of machine are very fortunate because they could produce effective goods and higher classes of productions that will be demanded in other countries. For example, our country want to import a variety of cars from Japan, such as Toyota, because the production of the cars, they are made from advancement and powerful machine. Okay, so we can look the logo of Toyota that I include in this slide. Next, we move to the next new opportunities under advancement of technology, which is digital platform. Advancement in technology also indicates investment of digital platforms in exchanging goods and products from a country to another country. In this era, there are many digital platforms to buy products from other countries such as Shopee, Lazada, Amazon, and others. With this medium, citizens in our country could buy items that they want by opening the apps and only click to the items and pay for it. It will be easier for all consumers because they do not have to go to the country which the items are made from, but they can only buy the items with all these online digital platforms. Okay, next, we move to the last part about advancement of technology, which is career services. Advancement of career services in a country also became one of the factors contributing to opportunities to increase in international trade. It is because careers are needed to deliver the goods and products to the customers when the products arrive from the origin country. In our country, there are many career services that will deliver the goods and products to the customers at home. For example, Post Laju, JNT Express, CityLink, and Nijavan. Okay, so next, we move to the next opportunities, which is variety of products. Countries that have potential to produce goods and items followed by the demand of the people will increase the number of exporting products to other countries. Consumers and households are looking for products that suit their interest and taste. For example, a citizen woman in our country wants to fulfill their interest by buying an import branded handbag from the USA, which is Marc Jacobs. This because the branded high-quality handbag is only can be found at the USA and not at other countries. Next, we move to the last part in new opportunities of international trade, which is healthy competition among international traders. International traders among countries will make the countries compete among them because they want to be the best in running their international trade, right? Healthy competition among countries will contribute to various high-quality products because if they compete with each other in a healthy way to produce the best product to place at the world market, they will ensure their products are good for sale to the customer around the world. This is because the customer only looking for the good quality product that can fulfill their desire. Okay, we look to the two products with the same category, which is smartphone. Okay, in this side, there is a Samsung Galaxy S20, which is the new brand for Samsung. And at this side, we know the iPhone 12 from Apple. Okay, so to conclude, most of the companies in the different countries are compete with each other to put their name, to put their brand name, and to put their country's name in the market world. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Akmal Aziz, and now I'm going to discuss about challenges of international trade. We move to our first point, which is too many competitors that sell same items. Nowadays, there are a lot of companies that produce the same products, especially in producing phones. In Malaysia only, there are two companies producing mobile phone, which are M-Mobile and Nine Technology. M-Mobile is the first mobile phone manufacturer from Malaysia to be established since 2005. Not only that, it is the first mobile phone manufacturer in the world owned by Muslim. So as you can see in this slide, so this is the example of local brands product, which are the first one picture is M-Mobile and the second one is the Nine Technology. For Nine Technology, it is the second mobile phone manufacturer from Malaysia. It was first introduced in 2012, with the release of more than 20 devices and tablets that use Android system. During that time, their mobile phone were not caught gaining attention from Malaysians. In 2013, Nine Technology began expanding its market to neighboring countries including Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Singapore. However, ladies and gentlemen, these two local mobile phone manufacturers have totally collapsed. After a few years, they launched their own mobile phone. This happens because most of the Malaysians prefer to buy foreign mobile phone like Samsung, iPhone, Huawei compared to the local brand. So basically during this year, which is during the 2013 and 2014, like that, so Malaysians prefer to buy the foreign mobile phone because they assume that the quality of foreign mobile phone is better compared to the local brand. Hence, these two local phone manufacturers which are struggling in the international trade of mobile phone industry end up with a failure as they fail to compete with giant brands like Samsung and iPhone. Next, we go to the second challenges of international trade, which is different volatility currencies. Malaysian currencies as lower currencies compared to United States currencies, as Malaysia need to spend 4.04 ringgit to buy a $1 item. We simply can say that $1 equal to 4 ringgit Malaysia. So basically, consumers in Malaysia face these challenges whenever they would buy imported items or products from abroad. So this is just an illustration. Next, ladies and gentlemen, eventually this type of barrier would lead to many bad consequences to Malaysia's economy if our currency remains low. In general, a weaker currency makes import more expensive. Hence, a weak currency can contribute to a nation trade deficit over time. The second one, the bad effect is the poor exchange rate for ringgit equates to a lesser value it carries when you convert it to foreign currencies. Hence, if we are planning to study or travel abroad, our expenses budget is expected to increase on a consequential proportion. Brothers and sisters, bad consequences of having weak currency also will occur when we owe foreign countries a lot of money. So basically, these debts are often created as a natural part of doing international business. Hence, if our currency remains low, it will affect our debt rates to increase drastically. So basically, this debt I mean is when people or government owe money from developed foreign countries like United States, which are their currencies keep increasing year by year. Next, weak currency reduce the purchasing power. As we know, some items that are produced in Malaysia use imported items in their production. Thus, it will increase the cost of production and the price level of the products. So, when people who would like to buy this kind of product, maybe it will access their budget expenses. Then, automatically, it will lose their purchasing power to buy this kind of product. The third challenges of international trade is high level of taxes rate. Basically, this high level of taxes always occur in imported goods, especially in automotive industries. This imposition of taxes not only increase the price level of imported car brands, but also the local brands too. Although the imposition of taxes to the local brand is lower compared to the foreign brands, the amount of the taxes is still huge as customers need to pay a higher amount than the initial price. As you can see in this table, it shows the tax fee that imposed to the local and imported cars. However, customers who would like to buy an imported car like BMW, Toyota or Mercedes need to pay multiple and extra charges of international trade taxes that sometimes will cost the customer for almost 40,000 and more. Need to be mentioned that shipping taxes also incurred to the imported cars. Thus, this is the biggest factors on why most of the Malaysians nowadays tend to buy local cars compared to the imported cars. As you can see in this picture, which showing BMW cars, BMW 3 Series G20, the government imposed $20,000 USD, that is equivalent to 76,000 ringgit to the Malaysian who would like to buy this car. So basically 76,000 ringgit is a huge amount, and Malaysia can use the amount of taxes actually to buy Myvi actually. Last but not least, the challenges of international trade also caused by COVID-19. According to the World Economic Forum, total monthly exports for the world's largest export economies like China, the US and Germany experienced a sharp fall in exports. Eventually, this pandemic COVID-19 has given a big impact to the economy of every country, as all of them are facing a shrinking international trade. Brothers and sisters, Malaysia is also one of the countries that was affected with this pandemic COVID-19. All economic sectors in Malaysia that related with international trade facing a bad economic crisis. So as you can see in this illustration, United States economy showing a sharp downturn in the real GDP growth during the Q1 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this pandemic COVID-19 also has dropped Malaysia export trade drastically to abroad. This is because during the pandemic COVID-19, government has strictly prohibited all Malaysians to go abroad to stop the spreading of COVID-19. International trade business like export could not be able to continue as usual. Thus, our country's economy automatically lost our profit from export activity. In addition, this barrier could make our total GDP for this country become lower compared to the previous year. So, this is the evidence that showing Malaysia real GDP facing a downturn in 2020. So, that's all from us. Thank you very much. Ma'assalamah wa ilal liqa.